Hello, second graders, and welcome back to Storytime with Mrs. Buddy. Today our book is called No Dogs Allowed. It's written by Sonia Manzano. She's the actress that plays Maria on Sesame Street. It is illustrated by Jon Muth. This week we are reading realistic fiction books. Those books, they're fiction stories, completely made up stories, but everything in it could happen. So no dogs allowed. Hi, my name is Iris. I'm 7, and once a long while ago, when I was 6, I lived in a place called the Bronx, in the kingdom of 3rd Avenue, in the land of New York City, with a big sister named Shorty the Fortune Teller, who could tell the future by rolling her eyes. A mother named Mammy the Busy, because she was always busy doing something. And a father named Pappy the Clever, who, with the touch of a hand and about 5 or 6 hours, could fix anything. And a dog named El Exahante, because he didn't do a thing. Do you like the names that she's given to her family? One day we decided to go to the lake in the Enchanted State Park. We woke up very early. That's how you beat traffic and get a good picnic table. It was so early, it was still dark outside. It was so early, I had trouble waking El Exahante because he's very good at sleeping. My Mammy the Busy and my Pappy the Clever got everything ready. Mammy made a little lunch and a little after lunch snack. Then she made a little dinner and a little after dinner snack. Then she made dessert and a little something for the road, in case we got hungry. My Pappy packed, saying, "Only take what you know you'll really need to go on a picnic." My big sister Shorty, the fortune teller, packed a few essentials. And I was packing for El Exahante when my sister yelled, rolling her eyes, "Mom, Iris can't bring that dog, can she? There'll be nothing but trouble if he comes." "There'll be nothing but trouble if he stays," said my Mammy. Think about why the girls are arguing and what could happen. We lugged our things to the sidewalk and met my cousin, Carmen the Beautiful. She brought her traveling beauty parlor. My other cousin, Marta the Smart, she brought a few books. My Aunt Tuta, the happily married, and her brand new husband, Juan. They were so in love they could only bring each other. Jon J, the grocer, brought his whole deli counter. The wise old people wisely brought a table, chairs, and a box of dominoes so they could finish a game they started 100 years ago when they were young in Puerto Rico. And a few neighbors from the tri-state area, they brought things too. Remember, Pappy said, only bring what you really need for a picnic. We loaded our trucks and cars and trailers and off we went. We never took the highway. Pappy said old roads were better to break down on. Which we did. "I knew we were going to break down," said my big sister, Shorty the fortune teller, rolling her eyes. "That's okay," said my Mammy. "We can have a snack, and it gives me a chance to crochet a nice cloth for the picnic table. And it gives me a chance to rotate the tires after I fix the car," said Pappy the Clever. "And I can fix my hair a bit," said Carmen the Beautiful. "And I'll have time to finish reading this grim fairy tale," said Marta the Smart. I was just getting to the good part. "And I'll be able to make some sandwiches to have before, during, and after we get to the lake," said Don J, the grocer. My Aunt Tuta, the happily married, and her brand new husband Juan gazed into each other's eyes and said, "Oh boy, this gives us a chance to spend more time together before we get to the lake to spend even more time together." The wise old people didn't say anything, but looked around wisely, set up their table and chairs, and broke out the dominoes. Anybody who wasn't changing a tire, looking for a car jack, or crawling under their car got busy preparing a snack for anybody who was changing a tire, looking for a car jack, or crawling under their car. Anybody left over got a chance to do whatever they wanted to do. I got a chance to play tug of war with Alex Ahante. He was very good at it. So I knew exactly where the road map was when Pappy wanted to check it so we wouldn't get lost once we were on the road again. But we got lost anyway. I knew we were going to get lost, said my big sister, Shorty the fortune teller, rolling her eyes. Think of it as an adventure, said my mammy. Besides, it gives us a chance to visit other neighborhoods and practice our English when we ask for directions. Look at the road carefully. Do you see it spells out, oops. Once we actually got there, it's a miracle, said my big sister, Shorty the fortune teller. I couldn't wait to do all the things I'd been thinking of, like jumping in the enchanted lake and getting some enchanted sun and eating some enchanted lunch and taking an enchanted nap and building some enchanted sandcastles. Notice her thought bubble there. And that's when my big sister's eyes stopped rolling long enough for her to read the enchanted sign that said, "No dogs allowed," enchanted or otherwise. I knew it, I knew it, I knew it! She was hopping mad. I knew this was going to happen. I gulped. My sister was right. Alex Ahante did cause trouble. This was terrible. What were we going to do? Go home after breaking down and getting lost because Alex Ahante was a dog? He couldn't help it. He was born that way. Besides, being a dog was what he did best. Why weren't dogs allowed at the lake anyway? I looked at Mammy. My Mammy and Pappy looked at each other. Everyone started talking at once, in English and in Spanish. Then Pappy said, "Wait a minute. Can you all be quiet so we can figure out what to do?" "We'll never figure out what to do," said my sister, rolling her eyes. But everyone was too busy trying to figure out what to do to hear her. Then my Pappy yelled, "Cállense!" at the top of his voice. This means, in case you didn't guess, quiet in Spanish. And then he thought for the longest minute of my life. Finally, he said cleverly, "Look, these packages are heavy. We might as well put them on a nice picnic table until we figure out what to do." And then my Mammy got busy saying, "It's hot. I might as well mix some coconut pineapple punch and set out the blankets in a nice shady spot until we figure out what to do." And Carmen the Beautiful said, "I might as well put on my swimsuit in case Prince Charming shows up until we figure out what to do." And Marta the Smart said, "I might as well go ahead and make some fairy tale sandcastles until we figure out what to do." And Don Joe the grocer said, "We might as well eat these sandwiches I made until we figure out what to do." My Aunt Tuda, the happily married, and her brand new husband Juan had decided to put their heads together and take a walk around the lake to try to figure out what to do. And the wise old people had already wisely sized up the situation and found the perfect tree to play dominoes under until somebody else figured out what to do. Then Pappy the Clever said, "We should take turns staying with Alex Ahante in the parking lot until we can figure out what to do." Notice that they're doing exactly what they would normally have done when they got to the lake. So that day, in the parking lot of the Enchanted State Park, my dog had his fur done by Carmen, was read to by Marta, was fed by Don Joe, was babysat by my Aunt Tuda and her husband Juan, played dominoes with the wise old people, had his paw read by my sister, and was hugged and kissed by me until we could figure out what to do. And before we knew it, it was dark. My cousin Marta the Smart couldn't read anymore. Aunt Tuda and her brand new husband Juan were anxious to get home and start becoming an old, happily married couple. Carmen the Beautiful had put rollers back in her hair, Plus, there was nothing left to eat. It was time to leave. And as we drove home, Alexahante and I agreed that my sister, Shorty the fortune teller, was right both times. Alexahante did cause trouble, and we never did figure out what to do. But it didn't matter because we both felt tired and sleepy and happy and sandy, just like you should feel after spending the day at the Enchanted State Park. The end.